My name is Alina. I was 21 when I left my home in Pakistan for a cleaning job in Dubai. The contract was miserable. The hours were long, the pay was barely enough to live, but I lived below enough, so I could send the rest home every month, without fail. I remember the first salary I ever received. I didn't buy anything for myself. I walked to a cheap internet cafe, stood in line for 40 minutes, and sent 80% of it back home. I smiled as I clicked send. It felt like purpose. My mother called that night crying. She said she was proud of me. My little sister told me she bought new school shoes. My brother had joined college. My father, quiet and humble as always, just said, "You are the pillar of this family." That sentence kept me going through some of the hardest days of my life. No one saw what I endured. No one asked. I shared a room with 6 women. I worked 2 jobs, housekeeping in the morning, laundry at night. My hands were blistered, my knees always sore. I cried alone in bathroom stalls. I slept through Eid. I never celebrated my birthdays. I never shopped, never went to a salon, never splurged. But every month that money went back home, and I told myself, one day it will all be worth it. I watched my sister post selfies in new clothes. I saw my brother posing next to a shiny bike. My mother would send photos of new curtains, a new refrigerator, a renovated kitchen. They told me everything was fine, that they were managing everything responsibly, that Dad was doing better, that they were proud of me. So I worked harder. 8 years passed. Then the calls started to fade. Messages became shorter. Replies came slower. I was always the one checking in. "How's Baba?" And they'd say, "Sleeping. Tired." "Same." Then silence. Something was wrong. I told my boss I needed emergency leave. I booked a flight home. I landed in Lahore without telling anyone I was coming. That's when everything I thought I knew shattered. I walked into the house I'd spent 8 years paying for, and it was locked. Neighbors recognized me instantly. One auntie gasped and said, "Oh, thank God you came. Your father's in the hospital. No one from the family is here." What? I rushed to the hospital. My father was in a public ward, thin, gray, barely breathing. No nurse attended to him. His name tag was misspelled. His face had bruises from falling out of bed. No one had visited him in days. I stood at his bedside, numb. When he opened his eyes and saw me, he smiled, but then a single tear slipped down his cheek. And that was it. That one tear told me everything. I went back home. The house was still locked. But I knew where the spare key was. Inside, everything looked expensive. Marble tiles, velvet cushions, imported perfumes, luxury handbags. My sister's room had designer heels and a glass display. My brother's gaming setup was better than anything I'd ever seen. My mother's closet was overflowing with silks and branded makeup. And then I found the photos, printed and framed. Bali, Maldives, Thailand. Business class flights. My mother on a beach. My siblings in a private pool. My brother feeding dolphins. My sister drinking from a coconut with a diamond ring on her finger. All while my father was alone, dying in a hospital. I logged into the bank account. Millions sent by me over the years, drained, used, not for survival, for luxury. My name was on the property. The car was in my name. The account, my earnings. They had nothing without me. So I made a decision. I froze the bank account. Then I called my lawyer. I changed the house locks. I moved my father to a private hospital. I hired a full-time nurse. I sat by his side for 3 days until his color returned. On the 4th day, they came back. Luggage in hand, tanned skin, souvenirs, laughing. They stopped laughing when they saw the gate. My mother's face twisted. She knocked. I opened the door. She smiled. "Beta, you didn't tell us you were coming." "I didn't tell you because I didn't need permission." Her smile faded. "What is this?" My brother barked. "Why are the locks changed?" I handed them a folder. Inside were all the documents. Frozen accounts. Property rights. Legal notice. "You abandoned your father," I said. "He could have died." "And you left him like garbage." My sister stepped forward. "You can't do this." "I already did." They screamed, threatened, pleaded. My mother collapsed at the gate sobbing. We had no choice. We needed a break. "We were tired too." "You used my life for your luxury," I said. "You made me believe you were surviving. You were thriving while I was breaking my back in silence." They tried to shame me. They said I owed them. They said family forgives. I said, family doesn't abandon the one who feeds them. Then I left them at the gate, and I posted the entire story online. Screenshots, photos, proof. It went viral. Hundreds of daughters, sons, workers all came forward with their own betrayals. The internet stood with me. Suddenly I wasn't alone anymore. And neither was my father. Now he lives with me in a quiet apartment in Islamabad. We go for evening walks. He laughs again. Sometimes he looks at me like he wants to apologize, but he doesn't need to. He never betrayed me. I take care of him because he once held my tiny hands and taught me to walk. The rest of them? I haven't spoken to them since. They're still shouting, sending messages from fake accounts, asking for forgiveness. But forgiveness isn't free. I earned everything I gave them, and they lost everything they stole from me. If you've ever been betrayed by the people you sacrificed for, subscribe to my channel and like this video. This is not just my story. It could be yours too, because revenge doesn't need violence. It needs clarity. It needs courage to say, no more. The moral of the story: don't mistake silence for weakness. Don't confuse sacrifice with obedience. And never, never bite the hand that builds the home. Because one day that hand will close the door and you'll be left outside, alone and forgotten.